Hello and welcome to my reading vlog, kind of, for Shadow Rising by Robert Jordan, which is book 4 in the Wheel of Time, which I am actually buddy reading with Stephanie from Stephanie's Bookverse, and we are reading this over the course of the last 3 weeks of October. So it's currently the end of the second week of October and I have read my third for this week, so I'm here. I've read this bit. At the beginning of chapter 22. I have these nice floppy paperbacks and I also am listening to the audiobook of these, and I had tried starting this one a little, like maybe a month or two ago, and I was just feeling a little bit burnt out on the series at the time, I think, and so I've come back to it this month and actually it's going much better. This time the same things as always still annoy me about Robert Jordan's writing. I kind of wish he'd get to the point a little bit more quickly in a lot of places, and the relationship dynamics between the characters are not necessarily believable. There's a lot of kind of, I'm in love with you, but even though I've only known you like 2 seconds and don't really know anything about you, and actually like there's no real reason why I should, kind of thing. And especially for specific characters that I'm like, but why do you even like them, let alone love them, like them? And there's this one, I don't know why I'm being vague because these are supposed to be spoilery vlogs, so I'm going to go ahead and stop being vague. So the whole Min and Elaine both love Rand. I'm like, why? You don't know him, you basically just met him, and he's really annoying. So why do you like him? Not just like him, but love him. Like, I don't get it. I get why Rand would like Elaine. She seems like a pretty cool kind of girl. We don't see much of her. Maybe we're going to start seeing more, I don't know. But so I can see why he would like her. But yeah, and then the whole he's surprised that Egwene isn't in love with him thing, I'm like, get over yourself, dude. I don't know what it is that I've said this to Stephanie already, like I just don't like chosen ones. It's not even just the trope, it's the chosen ones themselves annoy me, so I don't really like him. Perrin trying to be all noble and leave File behind, I'm like, you need to get over yourself as well. The whole Lan and Nynaeve are basically soulmates. Again, they've known each other 5 minutes and they virtually spend no time together in these books, so I don't get that either. So there's just a lot about the relationship dynamics that I'm just not buying. But so far I'm getting on better with this book than The Dragon Reborn, I think. But also I'm worried because a lot of people say this is their favourite in the series, and while I'm not disliking it and I'm enjoying it okay, I'm not loving it. So I'm like, if this is as good as it gets, then I might be a little bit concerned. I don't know. I'm interested enough to continue, but I still don't really get the hype, is I think where I'm at. So we'll see. Maybe I'll get the hype by the end of this book or at some point during this series, or maybe I will just never get the hype and I'll read them and they'll be fine, but they won't be new favourites. We'll see. But anyway, that's where I'm at so far. I will try and remember to keep you posted. I will probably only update you once a week because that's my life right now. And yeah, see you when I've read a bit more. As usual, I've been rubbish at keeping this vlog updated. I am now on page 731 of this tome. I don't remember where I was the last time I updated you, but it definitely wasn't this far in. I've just got this bit left. And my experience with this book has been very up and down. So I kind of really enjoyed the first bit, or enjoyed the first bit, didn't really enjoy, like I enjoyed it, it was fine. And then there's like this whole section in the middle where I was just completely kind of confused for most of it, which I'll talk about a bit more in a minute. And now I'm less confused again, but I feel like the confusion might begin again before I get to the end of the story. So there's a whole kind of, there's a few reasons for this. Firstly, I feel like Robert Jordan, and I don't know if I've said this before, so sorry if I have, but I feel like Robert Jordan isn't really the best at making the goals and motivations of his characters clear to the readers. So a lot of the time the characters are doing things and I don't really know why they're doing the things that they're doing, or I can't remember. So an example of that is that Nynaeve and Elaine, yes, Elaine, are in, well, they're in Tonchico now, but for a portion of the story they were travelling to Tonchico and now they're in Tonchico. And I could not remember for the life of me why they were going there or why they were there. I just couldn't. And I was speaking to Angela from Literature Science Alliance yesterday about this, and she reminded me that it's because back at the beginning of The Dragon Reborn, the Armelin seat, Swan Sanche, said, oh, I want you to go off and find the Black Ajah. Because I do. I don't even really remember if there was a particular reason for that. Maybe there was. I just can't remember it because it was like so many pages ago. So that's still what they're doing. They're still looking for the Black Ajah, which I suppose they're successful at because we know that I can't even remember her name now. That's a whole other thing, the names thing. I'll get to that. Point being, the Black Ajah are in Tonchico, so I guess they're on the right track, but I don't really understand why they're doing this. Anyway, the other thing is the names thing. There are just so many names. I knew this going in, but I don't think until now, or until probably about 200 pages ago, it really hit me how many names there are for things and people in this series. And I've reached the point where I really cannot keep track of it anymore. Like, everything has a name. Every place, every person, even like a guard or a soldier or something that's on literally one page has a name. It's just impossible. And so many of the names are so similar. I've definitely said this before, like 2 of our main characters are called Egwene and Elaine. Why? There's Rand is like the main character, and there's another character in his hometown called Bran. Why? Why? Just why? I don't... It's difficult enough with there being so many names and then so many of them are so similar. It's impossible. I can't keep up with it anymore. So that was another thing that was causing difficulty for me. And then, you know, there's... Again, I was speaking to Angela about this and she makes an excellent point. Rand has this kind of secret thing that he's doing in this book, and he's not telling anyone what this is, which, I mean, it doesn't really make sense, but I guess there's a reason for it, which we'll find out when we know what the thing is. But the thing is, we don't know what the thing is because he's keeping it a secret even in his own mind. So we as the reader have no idea what's happening. So that's also frustrating, but that one's not too bad because I feel like that one we're not really supposed to know, so that's okay. And the other thing Angela said that is 100% on the money is that this is so classic fantasy in the sense that it's the people have to get the thing to go to the place to do whatever it is that they need to do, and it just goes on like that. So I was saying to her that I think my biggest problem with this series is that I am so used to Brandon Sanderson and his books and the way that everything that happens, everything that's described has some kind of meaning. Whereas here, things are just window dressing. You know, we're describing this table because it's a nice table. Whereas in a Sanderson book, we're describing this table because this table is going to be important. And so I'm overcomplicating this in my mind because I'm just so geared towards, well, that must be important and this must be important and that must be important, but actually no, it's not. A table is just a table. It's not a table that is going to turn into something else, you know? I think that is not helping me. Sort of that meshed together with the fact that Jordan doesn't really make his character's motivations entirely clear, as I said, and there's lots of plot lines and none of those are particularly kind of, I don't really see how they go towards the end goal. So it makes for a difficult reading experience for me, not because there's anything necessarily wrong with the book, although he does kind of not really get to the point particularly quickly, which I don't love, but mostly because I'm trying to find deeper meaning that does not exist, just because I'm so used to Sanderson that I can't get that mindset out of my mind. So I definitely like Perrin the best. I think I've said before, but I'm certain now Perrin is my favourite character, my favourite perspective, my favourite plot line. Whenever I'm with Perrin, I'm enjoying myself, and the rest of the time, mostly, I'm just confused. So I have, what, about 200 pages left-ish. I think it goes to about page 270 something, yeah, and I'm on page 731, so I've got about 250 pages left. I do want to finish this one today. I am on holiday from work now for the next 5 days, but I am planning a Halloween-y style reading weekend with Joanna from the channel Joanna Sosa, so I would like to finish this one today if I can. How long of the audio do I have left? I have 10 hours and 24 minutes left, and I'm listening at 2.5 times speed as usual. 10 hours and what was that? 24 minutes. So yeah, I have about 4 hours of the audio left, so I do think I can finish it today. And I'm interested to see how it's going to end and if things are going to make a bit more sense by the time I get there. But I have to say I'm not overly hopeful that that will be the case, because I've been honestly quite confused for a lot of this book. Like, there's that section where they're in Rodion and they're, you know, having, Rand particularly is having those visions. It took me so long to figure out they were visions of the past, like so long. So possibly I need to go back and reread those 2 chapters after I finish this book in the hope that it all just comes together in my head. I don't really know. But I'm not hating this one. Like, I didn't even hate The Dragon Reborn, really. I found it irritating. That's not happening with this one. A lot of people say this is their favourite, and I don't know that it is. I think I still liked The Great Hunt better than this one, but we'll see once I get to the ending, because endings are really important to me. If you have a really good ending to a book, it can improve my feelings of the rest of the book. So we'll see how I feel about it when I finish, hopefully later today, and I will let you know. Okay, it's the next day and I have finished reading The Shadow Rising. I actually finished it this morning. I tried to finish it last night, but I was just too tired, so I had the last like 40 minutes of the audio at my speed left this morning, so I did that after I fed the boys, because I can never go back to sleep straight away after feeding them for some reason. And I would say the last 100 or so pages of this were quite tense, and I liked that about it. It was a little bit stressful, which I don't dislike in books. I dislike it in my life, but I like it in my books. And I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the pacing at the ending. I think that's the problem that I have with Robert Jordan's books in the middle, is that the pacing at the beginning and at the end is usually okay, but in the middle bit it tends to be a bit too slow. Which is weird, because this year I've been liking slower books, but I think if it was just a little bit more even paced all the way through, I might enjoy it more. But either way, I did like this one. I don't know if I like it more than The Great Hunt, maybe around the same, I'm not sure. I felt like the whole secretive thing that Rand was doing was kind of unnecessary because it was a little bit anticlimactic in a way. So his whole secret was that he wanted to separate one of the Forsaken from the Dark One, but the Dark One by separating their bond, so that he could get a male Forsaken in particular to teach him how to use the power, which makes sense, but I don't know why that had to be such a big secret, particularly from the reader. So I just felt like, you know, it was built up too much for what it ended up actually being. So it was fine, but I don't think that all of the what's the word I'm looking for? Like, anticipation isn't really the word I'm looking for, but I can't think of what I mean. It just wasn't necessary, in my opinion. I think we could have known what he was working towards, and it would have still been interesting, and perhaps even more interesting. I don't know, because he didn't write it that way, but I still enjoyed it. Perrin was still my favourite storyline. Him and Fael getting married was so cute, and the kind of final, I don't want to say final because this is book 4 of however many there are, 12, 13, so it's not really the final battle, but the final battle in Emond's Field in this book was enjoyable. And what else? I'd kind of already, I didn't realise this at the time that I updated you last time, but I'd already read kind of the final scenes for this book with Nynaeve and Elaine, and that was enjoyable too. They've captured, can't really say captured for an inanimate object, but captured the thing that the Black Archer wanted to try and control Rand with, so that's good. And yeah, so I enjoyed this one. I am slightly more motivated now, I think, to continue with the series than I was after reading The Dragon Reborn, so that's good. Also, yesterday, the next trailer, I guess, for the series came out, and I thought that looked pretty good, perhaps a little bit more dramatic than the first 2 books really are, but that's Hollywood for you, I guess. So yeah, I enjoyed this experience. There was a lot that I was confused about, but I think that that is more of a me overcomplicating it thing than the book actually being complicated. That's the problem, is the book isn't complicated and I'm trying to make it complicated, as I mentioned already. So yeah, this one was a better experience than The Dragon Reborn, and I am looking forward to carrying on with the series. I am doing sort of sequels themed reading month in November, so it's possible that I'll read the next one, but I don't know, because I feel like I can have a little bit too much Wheel of Time, so we shall see. But for now, that's it for this particular vlog. Let me know your thoughts on this one if you have read it already, and I will see you when I read, what's the next one called? Can't remember. Knife of Dreams? Is that right? No, that's not for a while. Fires of Heaven. So I'll see you again when I'm reading The Fires of Heaven. And don't forget to check out Ponderful Books down in the description. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video and want to see more like this from me, then do think about hitting that subscribe button, and I hope to see you here again soon. Thanks. Bye.